La 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 la.
All right, welcome to Lasers, Babies, and Beer. This and all previous episodes, and most likely all future episodes, are brought to you by Valhalla Brewing in Paulsville, Washington.
And lasers, babies, and beer.
Nope.
No? No. I fucked it up because I'm drunk. Maybe we'll keep this.
We're going to keep it.
Made with love and lasers.
Lasers and love.
Lasers and love. No.
That's what it is.
He's right. I'm drunk. Because
it's a great ad. It's wonderful.
So the point is that you make something with love, ... and lasers. Pew, pew,
Made
pew.
with lasers and love. That's what your thing is called.
Made with love and
No.
lasers.
Is it love and lasers?
It is because...
Look up your Instagram.
I don't need to look it up because the point is that the catchphrase is usually people, when they make something, they say it's made with love.
And lasers.
And mine is made with love.
No, yours is made with lasers and love.
And lasers. It's a pun. It's a play on words.
I think you're backwards.
I think that this has gotten way out of control. I'm going to look it up.
Look it up right now. We're going to put on some
While
Jeopardy
recording,
old music.
He's going do 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 do. If I spell all of this wrong, it's going to take longer to
Not
type
lovingly.
in.
Not lovingly. Love.
I have a good reason for that.
And lasers. See? Love and lasers. Okay, so you're right. Made with love and lasers.
So I'm right. Because the pun is that everybody says something is made with love. My things are made with love.
And lasers.
And lasers. Pew, pew, pew.
So, that's the lovely advertisement.
We're going to have to
for
edit
today.
this.
No, it's staying. It's staying. Fuck it. Why not?
Love and lasers.
And Valhalla Brewing.
It is also on Facebook and Etsy and all of the social medias.
Go buy some shit from Love and Lasers and go drink some beer.
I will put your baby on a canvas.
And go drink some beer at Valhalla.
Good.
Take number 3.6.
375,629.
Okay, so let's start from the top.
News.
Beer
Local
news.
news. Sorry.
No. Wrong podcast.
Wrong podcast. All right. So we have some news for you. Local events going on. On August the 12th is Farm Funk at Minder Farms.
From 1 to 10.
1 to 10. It's kind of in the middle between Bremerton and Silverdale. There
They
should
have
be
lots of meat.
Meat and
Minder meats.
there will also be beer
Lots of beer.
and music.
And lots of music.
That event takes place from 1 p.m. to 10 p.m.
By the way, we're recording this after the tasting from Slaughter County. So,
Woo!
speaking of
Slaughter County, their anniversary party is going to be the same day, their 5th anniversary on August 12th from 5 p.m. to 11:30. So you could go to the Minder Farm, have the meats and the beer,
just get an Uber
and then go to put on your pirate costume
and go to the brewery.
and go to Slaughter County's 5th anniversary party.
Definitely.
There will be cannons.
Yes. Lots of, well, aren't they going to shoot cannons?
That's what he said.
Beautiful. I have to
They're
come.
shoot cannons over the bay.
I might have to be.
Also, on that day, and I don't know how you would fit all three. You'd have to...
Magic.
Yeah, I don't know. Slippery Pig, Dave, who's the brewer at Slippery
Yep.
Pig, it's his birthday. He wants to
Oh.
have a big birthday party.
Oh.
So, is that the guy that always wears the kilt?
Yes.
Yeah.
Bring your favorite kilt.
I like a man in a kilt.
With or without underwear?
I mean, they're not supposed to wear underwear. From a historical standpoint.
Very true.
To my knowledge.
It's freeing. It's airflow. For sure.
I mean, I wear skirts all the time. I
That's
don't
a
know how
little bit-
men feel about that.
Well, but females usually wear undergarments with the skirt.
Some do, some don't. It's a choice.
It is a choice.
It's a personal choice.
There you go.
Also, speaking of anniversary parties, Valhalla
Yes.
is having their anniversary party on September the 9th.
September 9th. Be there or be square. There will be a
Now,
band.
do you dress like a Viking?
Feel free to dress like a Viking. You can wear horns and a fur kilt.
Should I wear my barbarian scale mail
I'm sure many of the men at the party would be
appreciate
more than
that.
happy to see that, yes, for sure.
All right, some notable tap releases. We'll take a quick interlude here for tap releases because, John, what in the world is a Firkin Hammer?
It's a very strong beer. It's actually a style.
Firkin Hammer is a style of beer.
I believe it's some kind of style.
What?
We could call over Scott. He would know way more than me.
I think we should let him run his brewery for now.
All right. Anyways, it's 12.6%. It's super tasty, super strong.
It's dark?
Medium.
Medium. Have you tasted this beer?
Yes.
Use your tasting words even if you use them wrong.
I haven't had it in a year because
Is it barrel aged?
I don't know if it's a new batch or a barrel-aged batch.
So basically, there's this beer called Firkin Hammer, and John knows nothing about it except that it's 12.6%.
Yep.
All right, that's fine. Also, I heard a rumor, maybe from the brewer at Terbeloken, that they did a batch of cast over dry hopped with lavender this week,
Beautiful.
and that might be going to Ashley's Pub.
Well, good thing you frequent both.
I do frequent both, and if you're interested in having that, I would check out Ashley's Pub.
There you go.
Which is amazing anyway, and I basically live there.
Yes. It's board games and beer. You can't go wrong.
Other interesting things I saw, it looks like Vashon Brewing is doing a wild blackberry saison. They're brewing it right now.
Yeah.
What? What does that mean?
Like we discussed with Scott at Slaughter County.
What, you don't like fruit beers?
Fruit beers, and unless I'm eating the blackberry itself, screw fruit.
No, you know what though? Because I made a blackberry stout and I made strawberry blonadine in my first year of brewing, and that was
Strawberry
all
blonadine
with
is
fruit.
good.
That was all with fruit that came out of my garden. And there's something really awesome about taking fruit out of your garden and putting it in your beer.
And alcoholic beverages.
Yeah, but
There you
like
go.
brewing with it, it's.
All
I
right,
think it's
all right,
awesome. Other things we have on here, we should check on the lasers and the babies.
Yeah, so you actually have a laser project at the moment.
I do. We talked about this with Scott in the interview, so I won't sit on it too heavily, but I've been running canvases with photographs on them.
Mm-hmm.
Usually people's babies.
Most likely.
So let's use that as a segue into your baby.
Well, and you have a project on the back burner,
I
which
do.
became way more complicated than you originally thought.
Oh, the stained glass project?
Yes.
So
Which isn't actually stained glass.
it isn't actually stained glass, but I had the idea of using transparent and translucent acrylic and then cutting them into the same shapes that people do with stained glass and then gluing them together and using something to look like veins and then making basically a stained glass window except that it's made out of acrylic, so it's not as breakable
Yes.
and it will not be as expensive.
Nice.
But I don't know how much work is going to go into that yet, so it's testing.
Yes. And I have a dad pro tip. That's what we called it.
Good. Some fatherly parenting advice
Yes.
here from the baby side of the house.
Dad pro tip. Don't shake your baby.
Did you shake your baby?
No, I did not shake my baby. But it is commonly told to new parents, don't shake your baby.
Who does that?
Bad parents.
Bad parents.
Yes.
Well, you heard it here, folks. Drink beer. Don't shake your baby.
Yes, don't do it. The beer may make you want to do it, but don't do it. At all. I actually had to watch. So when we first got Ruby from the hospital.
Is this a thing? Like, do you get frustrated as a new parent and shake the baby?
No, you do get very frustrated. And you have to manage your emotional state. Because you're usually
some
very
breathing
Well, you're very
exercises?
sleep deprived all the time because you're up multiple times all night long. Like last night I was up for an hour from like 2 to 3. That sucks. But you got to do it because the baby needs stuff. Anyways, when we got back home from the hospital, they were like, you have to watch this DVD. It's called Purple. It tells you exactly how to get your baby to go to sleep and, you know, and manage your baby's sleep habits and blah, blah, blah. And it's really, really good. So we're like, sweet. We need to watch this.
Did you learn anything from
We
it?
need to watch this DVD called Purple. We got home, we popped it in. The entire 15-minute video essentially says, don't shake your baby. That's the whole thing. That's it.
the trick to parenting.
Just don't shake them.
Don't shake your baby.
You could get frustrated and want to do it, but don't do it because their brains will rattle around and you'll hurt them. It's very bad.
That's so graphic.
Just saying.
There's small brains inside their tiny skulls.
They're small all around. Ruby can actually sit up on her own, and when you try to lift her up, she tries to stand. It's awesome.
It's good.
Grown up.
Yeah. That's what babies do.
One of her teeth popped in. She's gotten...
Does that mean she cries all the time now because it hurts in her mouth?
Yes. Hence why I'm up all the time in the middle of the night.
Okay. Now, don't judge me based on this because I'm just going off of old wives' tales.
Okay.
At that point, do you or do you not rub whiskey on their gums?
You don't tell the other parent. That's what you do. The problem is...
Does the other parent listen to this podcast?
No.
Good.
Not yet.
Maybe wait for the next episode?
No. Well, not the problem, but both of us wake up because she's screaming. So you wake up, you try to figure out what's wrong, whether she needs food or just she lost her pacifier or she needs to roll over or whatever, So it's just a hit or miss on what she needs, and a lot of the time...
It's troubleshooting.
It is troubleshooting.
Baby troubleshooting.
Baby troubleshooting. No one's an expert at it either. You could have 27 kids. You're never an expert.
Is it more intuitive for your wife, do you think?
No.
That disappoints me. Because I've always been told that women have like a more intuitive connection to their babies. And like they'll just know. But if they don't just know...
No.
Shit, son.
Yeah. Good luck. Good luck.
I assume over time you get to know your baby at least.
Yes, we have a good idea of what she needs and what she doesn't need, and what might be the problem. You get that over the course of X amount of months dealing with said baby.
What is the X amount of months now?
7 in a couple weeks.
7 months?
Mm-hmm. She'll be 8 months, August 22nd. So, that's my baby stuff.
Don't shake your baby. Do you think that that's probably already a hashtag? Hashtag don't shake your
If
baby.
not, I'm going to create it.
Good.
We'll put it into the
Can
show
we
notes.
make the hashtag drink beer don't shake your baby?
Sure. Why not?
Good.
I think we'll be the only person on that.
That's
hashtag.
fine. Nobody uses the hashtag lasers, babies, and beer, so
Well, that's ours. It's okay.
we're just going to say that we're entrepreneurs.
Yes, with podcasts.
We're good. We're good at this, I swear.
Stick him in the scupper with a hose pipe on him. Stick him in the scupper with a hose pipe on him. Stick him in the scupper with a hose pipe on him. Early in the morning. Way hey and up she rises. Way hey and up she rises. Way hey and up she rises. Early in the morning.
So this is Lasers and Babies and Beer, round 3
Slaughter County.
with Slaughter County
Are you Brewing Co.? Is that what it is?
Brewing company.
Brewing Company. Okay.
And who is the guest today?
Everybody say hi to Scott.
Hey,
Scott, owner and head brewer.
owner, head brewer, executive vice janitor. Yeah. Kind of all that. My business card says yeast whisperer, barley alchemist. So
Nice.
Very cool. So before we started recording, we actually started talking about some of the beer.
We said we better turn the mic on.
We should better turn the mic on. So we got 4 sitting here in front of us. We got Luna Negra.
yep, that's
Blackberry
our
wit with
Belgian white.
spices.
Yeah, Belgian white with blackberry and spices. Yeah,
Next, Pilsner.
it's the Gorst Light Pilsner.
Okay.
So really nice sort of bohemian style pilsner that we make.
This lovely
That's
amber-looking
the Darryl IPA.
Darryl IPA, and then a nice oatmeal stout here.
Yeah. And that's actually it's called the Crimp. It's named after a friend of ours. Actually, a couple of our beers are named after friends.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, that's the Crimp oatmeal stout. It's a nice full
Yeah.
stout.
So you said this is kind of like a breakfast beer.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we should start with.
Okay, we could.
For those of you at home, it's like 10 in the morning.
It
we
is.
knocked this out early.
Yep. We have no qualms about drinking before noon. At all. I guess you could mix the oatmeal stout with a cup of coffee and then you can get yourself a oatmeal.
Yeah,
coffee
I
oatmeal
used to do that. I
Yeah.
used to actually we had an espresso machine here. It broke.
Oh,
but
no.
I'd take a fresh shot of espresso and drop it into the oatmeal or into either one of our stouts, and it's really nice because the fresh espresso is so aromatic when you put it directly in, rather than having it brewed with coffee. So
Yeah.
And you've been doing lots of interesting things with your stouts lately.
Yep. We accidentally mixed some root beer into a stout and decided it wasn't half bad. So Yeah, so we had our Yo Mama's oatmeal, or Yo Mama's root beer stout.
What was that?
That was actually at the festival.
The festival?
Yeah.
That was Bremerton Beer Fest happened a couple weeks ago,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Very cool.
And then there was the licorice. The licorice
Yeah.
stout.
Yeah, I've actually got a little bit of that if you guys want to taste it still. That was a real weird beer, and the way it turned out was a total surprise. I do like messing with the stout. I've done sour stouts and other things like that, and I don't see a lot of people really messing around with stouts as much as I think we do. But I don't know. It's just sometimes I'm looking for a stronger, more pungent flavor, and so I want that strong back flavor to help out.
Yeah. I had, oh shoot, what was it called? It's Boulder Brewing, something like that. It was their coffee espresso nitro stout.
Is that the one we had at Tisley's?
Yes.
That was very good.
Oh my God. Whatever that is, it was like drinking a cup of coffee,
Yeah.
but in beer. And
And a milkshake.
And a
It
milkshake.
was-
And they broadly sent it across the country. It was beautiful.
That was crazy.
Boulder Shake.
Yeah, I think
Something
you're
like
right.
that.
Ah, cool.
Something? I don't know. So yeah,
What do you think of the oatmeal?
it's good. I like it. I'm
You want to break it down, talk about it a little bit?
sure.
I don't know if you want to go through all these beers that way, but yeah. So I don't know. Do you guys do technical tasting? I can describe it real quick. I don't know if you've ever
So-
talked about it yet. On
so
I
our-
like to pretend.
So our
Oh, okay.
disclaimer when we do tastings
We will
is
use our adjectives, but probably wrong.
we're not experts by any stretch of the imagination, and we just enjoy drinking it. And whatever we taste, we say what we think, but it's most likely wrong.
But that's actually the way. I believe that's the way you should do beer. That
Yeah.
beer's not pretentious. It's not codified. You
Yeah.
know. But but it's like I'll use words like diesel fuel and plastics and manure and things like that when I'm describing beers, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's
Yeah.
just those are the actual flavors that I'm getting. And,
Yeah.
And even your
So you-
palate will change.
Eating manure.
No.
That's what you expect it to taste like.
I won't say I haven't tasted it.
Sometimes just a whiff of it is enough
Yeah.
to make you go, that's manure,
That
it's
little
fine.
particle lands on your tongue. Yeah,
yeah.
that's what
Okay,
it is.
I get the idea.
Yeah.
But this beer does not taste like manure, let's just be clear about
Yeah.
that.
No, not at all. No, what I'm getting from it is actually a mild, like it's not a heavy stout. It seems more of a lighter, but with a
The
good,
body is a little lighter.
yeah, but with a good oatmeal
Yeah.
backing to it.
Backbone.
Yeah. One of the things we do with this beer, oatmeal is, it's, the grain itself can be a little bit aggressive as a grain flavor-wise, so it can have kind of a rough quality to it. Again, not real precise on the language, but it's something I like. I like oatmeal stouts, but sometimes they can get a little bit too strong. This is, forget how much, it's like 11%, 11 to 20% oatmeal, which is kind of up on the high end of how much oatmeal you put into a stout. So that flavor was really coming through.
Yeah.
What we did to sort of counter that is just before we flame out and chill the beer down. I'm sorry. Just, okay. Touch tunes.
It's a party in here
Yeah.
now.
Oh, that's fine. That's hilarious. All right, we're gonna pause real quick.
Yeah, let me pause that and I'll fit.
Looking at me like I said something terrible.
All right, so we're back. We had to turn the automatic music,
Technical difficulties.
but having a background channel music wouldn't be so bad. But you were saying that.
Yeah, so I would
Yeah.
talking about the oatmeal stout. So what we do to kind of take that grainy edge off of the beer is just at flame out we add it's molasses to it. So if you taste the beer, if you smell it, a little bit of the aftertaste, you'll pick up a little bit of that molasses.
Just let him walk
Yeah,
in
we'll
the
just let
middle.
him walk in.
Go for it.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
I like it though. It sits on the tongue and it just stays nice and warm for a minute. It's got a nice
Yeah,
aftertaste
it's
to
got,
it too.
and it's so it finishes with sort of that real espresso quality. It's
What
got
a
bit of-
gentleman.
got
So,
you get a lot of cocoa notes in it and,
Yeah.
and coffee and stuff.
Yeah. That's the problem with leaving the chocolate-covered coffee beans on top of the hot coffee. So we had another brewer come in, Aaron. He's wandering around in the back. He may or may not join us, but
He's a smart man. He came in with 2 cups of coffee, one for him and one for the boss.
yes, exactly. And then,
Let's do the next.
yeah, let's
Okay.
do the next.
Sure. Why don't we do the Gorse, the Pilsner? So
Okay.
Gorse is
Perfect.
our light Pilsner. Bohemian style, which means it's hopped with sort of your Czechoslovakian style hops rather than being like a Budweiser, which is more of a German style hopping.
Yeah. Well, that has a
So
good
it's got
flavor
a-
on the back end.
Yeah, it's got a nice grassy quality to it, nice finish on it.
Yeah.
And this is a light version of the Pilsner? You also do a normal version, right?
Yeah, we do. So normally this beer comes out when we call it Gorse Premium, and that's a 5.8% beer. The story behind this was I had started doing a light beer, and then this was probably our second year into business, and we had a fundraiser that was a punk show. It was like a 3-day punk show. There was like 15 bands, and it was a fundraiser. And midway through booking the show, about 2 weeks in advance of the show probably, one of the guys who was helping put the bands together came up and he said, these guys really, really, really don't like craft beer. They don't like paying for craft beer.
They're
Okay, Aaron's in the back, slamming keg around.
it's all good.
Cool. Well, working brewery.
Yep, exactly. Yep.
Anyway, he said, these guys really are kind of demanding that you bring in Pabst because they like Pabst, and so they just like buy some racks of Pabst and sell it to them for like $3 a can, and they'll be happy. And I said, fuck no, I'm a brewery. I'm not bringing Pabst in here.
Yeah.
So I said, look, I'll make you a shitty beer. I said, we'll serve it in 12-ounce plastic cups,
There you go.
and I'll charge you $3.25 a piece. And we took that Gorse Premium, that 5.8% beer, added more water to it.
Yep.
Became a 4% beer. Turned out a lot better than I thought it was.
Yeah.
It was going to be, and so it's when we're doing the Pilsner, we tend to do the light now more often than we do the premium.
Yeah.
The premium really is a beautiful, rich Pilsner, but it's when somebody comes in looking for a lighter quality beer,
Yeah.
they're looking for a Coors Light or
Yeah.
Budweiser, and this beer fits that palate a lot better, and it sort of creates that little grassy finish. Gives them that gateway into like, oh, there's more flavor opportunities here, and so we're able to start converting some of these guys into seeing that
Come
there's
to the dark
craft
side.
beers, craft beers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The dark side of craft brew. Yeah.
And I think we were the first brewery in the state doing a craft light beer.
Light Pilsner.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
What's funny about Pilsners is, like, when you're 15, 16, you sneak a taste of your dad's beer or something. No matter what kind of beer it is, it tastes like a Pilsner.
Yeah.
It's a beer, that beer taste is just what it tastes like. And I've grown to actually really enjoy Pilsners over the last few years, just especially when it's, going to be 100 degrees today,
Yeah.
something
Right.
ridiculous like that. And
when I'm looking for, I was not a big Pilsner drinker, but now that we're brewing this, I drink a lot of it.
Yeah.
And it's just because it's become sort of that thirst quencher. It's not, when I don't want to sit down and think so much about the beer, I just want something to drink because I'm thirsty.
yeah.
The
It's
Gorse is
water.
a great way to go. Yeah,
Look, you
Water's
take
for-
the water and then you add
Water's-
hops and barley.
Yeah, exactly.
water kills people. It's people drown in that shit. I tried to drown in beer. You can't. I float. I can prove it.
Yeah. No, this is
So,
very, very good. I like it.
Good for like a.
so a couple ways to
barbecue.
taste beer. We're talking about the technical tasting. You kind of look at it and you smell it, things like that, and you describe what you smell, and you try to figure out, okay, what's the beer trying to be? What does it want to be? But when you're drinking it, try drinking it without putting any air in your mouth, and you'll pick up a lot of subtle flavors. A lot of flavors are really muted that way, and then so you'll a lot of times you'll start to perceive things that normally you don't see in the flavor of the beer, and then take a sip and pull air through it like you would wine. Bubble it, go here, go.
We'll
And-
save that as a
Air,
sound
it's
effect
essentially
procedure.
a mouth version of an aerator.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the flavors really bloom at that point, and
Yeah.
and pick up on the flavors that you're getting as you exhale after taking a sip and things like that. Then you can break down a lot of different flavors that way, and you'll start perceiving things that normally you'd miss if you just always quaffing a beer.
Yeah.
right?
Well, like you said, this is a good drinking beer.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that you have no problem drinking all day long. Not one after another, but
Yeah.
because, I mean, you said it's what now, 4.5%?
This is it's 4 point,
Four.
yeah, pretty much 4.0. Yeah.
4 flat.
And it's kind of a gulping beer, a quaffable beer,
Yeah.
right? And so I do break beers into different categories that way, and that's the tasting process. Like some beers, I just want to take big mouthfuls of it.
Yeah.
The stout, no, that's more of a sipper. It's a
Yeah.
bit more of an aggressive beer, so you drink it a little bit slower. It's smaller mouthfuls. And
Yeah.
So that's something I like. Somebody told me that they classified beers that way,
That's
and
a
I was
good
like,
idea.
that's a really neat idea.
Where, you have something that you just want to chug down because you're thirsty and you're hot.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then you have, like, I'm guessing next is going to be the IPA where
Yeah, we do the
there's a
IPA.
little bit more flavor.
Yeah.
And you're like, if I drink this too quickly, I may regret it.
Yeah, and our IPAs are actually pretty big gulper, quaffable beers. They're pretty approachable and not super aggressive.
So this one's Daryl, but you guys
yeah, this is Daryl.
also have One Eye, and I feel like maybe one other.
Yeah, we've got the Daryl is this one. This is our Northwest style IPA. It's dry hopped and etc. We've got the old One Eye, which is our flagship, and that's actually not on tap right now. But that
The
is
flagship is not.
Yeah, yeah. So it's that's an English style IPA. We use a lot of imported malts. The Pilsner is all imported malt. We don't use any corn or any adjuncts in that.
Yeah.
The Daryl uses a combination of Pilsner malts and English malts, and then the
It's hair.
He's always got a cowlick like that.
no. So the Daryl's just well, okay, we're talking about the IPA. So the English style IPA is very low on the hops, to be honest. It's kind of barely acceptable as an IPA,
Really?
but it's a traditional English style, open fermented, English yeast, English malts, and English hop profile.
I thought as long as there was hops in it, it technically counts as an IPA. Or no, I guess it'd have to have.
No, because most beers have
All
hops.
beers have hops.
You
If
better
it,
with
yeah, by
hops.
definition, if it doesn't have hops, it's a gruit, and gruits rot.
Gruits
they don't-
rot?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they don't last very long because the hops act as a preservative.
Well, that's kind of why they started adding hops in. I think
It
it was what,
is.
World War I or World War II.
I think it's further back than that.
I think it's further back. They've been using a lot of herbs and different
We
things
could go
to try
check
to
the
do that.
walls in the bathroom at Dog Days because they drew it
Yeah,
on the walls.
exactly.
A little army man, put more hops in it, and they're trying to send it to what India.
It was
Yeah.
Africa or something, wasn't it?
That was India.
Was it India?
That's the story behind.
That's why it's an IPA.
Yeah, India Pale Ale, which is true, sort of, not true. It was a bit of a
a good
marketing.
story.
It was a bit of a marketing thing that,
Yeah.
that a guy came up with in England and made for a really good beer. But I do, I've heard that IPAs did last longer. They withstood the trip better.
Yeah.
And basically, the IPA was the drink the officers would get, and they would add water to it and turn it into something like their
Oh,
Coors
there you go.
Light for the troops.
So
you
they
know?
essentially.
Just like they do with rum, the officers would get straight rum, and everybody else would get grog, which is watered down rum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
We're a pirate bar, so I have to know things like that.
Yeah,
No,
absolutely.
that's the point. I mean, when your logo is a skull and crossbones, you got to focus on the brand.
Let your black flag fly.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. So
Surprised you don't have a pirate ship sitting out in the bay.
yeah.
You guys haven't you had ships out for your party before for your
Yeah,
anniversary?
we try to time our anniversary party with when the tall ships are in town, and that tends to work out every other year.
Okay.
That they come through here and they stay on the weekend. They were here in the middle of the week in July this year, which
Oh,
was
okay.
kind of too early for us, and it was also they were only here from Wednesday to Friday. So
Oh.
yeah. But yeah, the IPA anyway. This one I like the Daryl. It's got a really nice maltiness to it still, so there's a good bit of sweetness.
Yeah.
The hops, in all beer, part of the reason there's hops in there is it balances that sweetness out. Otherwise, they'd be a bit like soda pop to us. So if you get a bit more of a grown-up palate, you like that bitterness, that astringency, and things like that. So the Darrell, like we said, dry hopped, so you get a bit of hop aroma on it. When you get a full pint of it that's freshly poured, you get more.
I don't think I've ever really had a dry hopped IPA.
Yeah, you have. Yeah.
Well,
Trust me. I think you guys were discussing Valhall before, and
Are we going to talk about the hop you in the face scale?
the hop you in the
Hop you
face.
in the face scale that John hates?
what's that? I don't remember
So
that.
we were talking about that. So I'm not much of a hot person. I'm more of a dark
did buy
beer,
mother-in-law.
I did. We'll get to that. Okay, look. So I'm not much of a hop person, and so I had made an imaginary scale in my head on 1 to 5, whether the hops were, oh, I can drink this, or this hop just punched me in the face, and all I can taste is pine trees for days.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
And so I made up my imaginary hop you in the face scale, and then John wanted to add more nuance into the scale. He's like, it can't be 1 to 5. It's got to be 1 to 10. And I was like, that's too much for me. That's too much.
Well, like she put, when we did it, we were doing the Valhall one. She put Brew Bitch at like a 3. Or no,
I felt it was very mid-range.
2.
Mother-in-law
it was
was
like a 2.
lower.
2, but it was a double IPA.
Yeah. the thing, what happens
Yeah.
though is so our third IPA is our Rabbit, which is our Imperial IPA,
Okay.
and that's technically there's international bittering units. IBUs is what we use when we talk about how bitter a beer is, and you can measure it. Like you can take your beer to a lab and they'll tell you exactly what that is. You can also do it on paper. You can just sort of get a pretty good estimation of what your hop level is. So like my English style, I think is about 40 IBUs. This is up around 60, which is a nice mild Northwest style IPA.
Yeah.
Our Rabbit is 113 IBUs. It's off the scale. That's what it is on paper.
Dang.
Now, it's unlikely that we're actually getting that big of an extraction, but it's still a big, super hoppy beer, but it's so sweet.
Is that why it's called the Rabbit? Because it's hoppy?
Yes.
Super
Oh,
hoppy?
my. That's a good pun. I like that. Yeah. So when it gets that hoppy, does it count?
You would think it would rip your face off.
Well, but does it count? What? So I don't really know the difference between single, like a regular IPA, a double, and a triple.
Yeah,
not a tripel, but a triple IPA.
Yeah, triple IPA.
So since the Rabbit is so hoppy, does that count as a triple IPA?
It's
Yes.
Imperial, right?
It's an Imperial IPA. A lot of people are using the words Imperial and triple IPA
Interchangeably.
Yeah.
I know Imperial means strong.
To me, so the way I've defined it, and I don't know if this is really true, but you got your basic IPA and then your double IPA. Well, your double IPA is your regular IPA with more hops.
Yeah.
Tends to be about the same alcohol range and the same malt base,
Just
right?
more hops.
But when you get into a triple IPA, your hop level's getting so high that you really got to crank the beer up. So the alcohol level comes up, the sweetness level comes up. It's a much bigger beer overall. And they used to be, like when you do that to a normal beer, it always was Imperial Blah, right? Imperial Stout,
okay.
Imperial IPA. But I've just noticed in the last couple of years, people started dropping the Imperial and starting to call it a triple instead.
Well, it's because it's higher than double. You know?
Yeah.
People are like, I want the hoppiest beer you have.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I think Imperial sounds very regal, but
Yeah.
in our culture, I guess triple sounds better than double.
Well, but, an Imperial to someone just, exactly, it means
Yeah.
regal,
Doesn't
not
mean anything to
necessarily
them.
high octane or anything. It just could mean it's an English style, without any kind of background knowledge of the beer. But,
Yeah, but in beers, they usually mean they're big.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you see Imperial on the label, it should be a pretty heavy-duty beer.
Probably
I think
over 10.
everything that comes out of Stone now has Imperial. Just
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
everything's Imperial.
Their light Pilsner is an Imperial Pilsner.
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw one the other day. It was a Imperial Mocha IPA, and I was like, who wants that? I'm not sure that I want to even try that. Imperial Mocha IPA?
Yeah.
I actually went out and I bought a Stone. It was it's their seasonal right now out. It was an Imperial like triple IPA, I think, and it was ridiculously citrusy, like super citrusy.
Is it Ruin 10?
I don't know the name. I can't remember. But
Ruin 10 is Ruination, but with citrus in it. So
I don't know. Maybe.
Sorry.
Google it, folks.
I keep more track of stone beers than he does, so
Whenever we don't know an answer, we just say Google it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Google it, folks. All right, what do we have left? Luna.
Yeah, we can. Luna. So, we covered
Should have
the
had breakfast.
stout.
This is
This is breakfast. Stout, the Pilsner, and the IPA. So this is kind of, I wanted to go kind of dark, medium, light. For those, this is off the track of normal beer. This is an experimental kind of thing. We've been making it for 4 years now.
I was going to say, this is the beer when I moved back to Bremerton, because I came from San Diego, and they have a huge craft beer thing there. And when I moved back, I was really surprised that there were breweries everywhere. And when I started Googling and looking around, there were two things that drew me to my first visit here in Port Orchard. One, it's a pirate bar. So I put on a pirate costume and just showed up in the middle of the week and then went, we don't dress like pirates all the time? All right. And then two was Luna Negra, because I just love blackberries.
I love blackberries off the vine. I have a tendency to not like any berry flavor. Like blueberry flavor doesn't taste like blueberries, and strawberry flavor doesn't taste like strawberries, and blackberry flavor never tastes like blackberries. You know,
Even the farmed blackberries that you buy in a grocery store, because I tried when I was living in other parts of the country, they're just not the same as if you were to walk out here and find a wild blackberry bush and just eat it, and that's my childhood.
Yeah.
So
I've got like 15 feet of blackberry bushes in my backyard. I'm just waiting for them to produce. It's gonna be great.
you can give some to the baby.
I'm gonna eat them myself.
You're
No,
gonna
baby.
withhold that joy.
Yes. No blackberries for the baby.
All right. I'm not a parent, so I'm not going to judge you.
Which,
But
by
all
the
right.
way, I did get a request to bring back the dad tip.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Do you have a tip for us this week? How is baby?
Baby's fine. But
Sorry, folks, baby's not with us today.
No, she shouldn't go to breweries.
It's true.
We're
She's
kid
little
friendly here, though.
Are you?
Yeah.
Are you pet friendly?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes and no. Pets are allowed outside. Service animals are allowed inside. I prefer not to ask.
Well, you guys have covered,
when people
which is
bring,
nice.
Yeah.
A lot of places don't have outside covered seating.
Yeah.
So, of course, in October, you don't want to sit outside anyways.
Yeah. Our animal rules are kind of along the lines of don't ask, don't tell. You know, it's
If it's empty, the
They're
dog's
somebody,
welcome.
if somebody comes in and
Well
their
behaved.
dog is really just quiet and well behaved, I'm not going to worry about it.
Yeah.
You know, and like we're not supposed to do that. That's against health department rules and stuff like that. So
That's one of those
But
interesting gray
really-
lines.
as far as I know, they could be a service animal and we just don't ask.
Exactly.
You know.
That's a good like line
It's
to take.
I probably shouldn't say this out loud on the podcast, but
That's okay. I don't think any health officials are scanning
gonna
the
listen to this?
podcast market.
Looking for Slaughter County Shoot, I keep messing it up. Slaughter
It's a tongue
County.
twister for you.
Slaughter County Brewing
Company.
Company.
yeah.
Oh,
Slaughter County Brewing Company.
Brewing
So,
Company,
okay,
okay.
the name. But
Okay.
since you're stumbling over the name so hard, Slaughter County is actually Kitsap's original name back in the 1850s.
they should have kept it.
It does
Yes, of
sound-
course. So, yeah. And so that's why you see we're Slaughter County Brewing. There's the Slaughter County Roller Vixens. There's the Slaughter County Car Club. It's actually the name of the region. It's not. A lot of people thought we came in. They're like, oh, it's a heavy metal club, or we're going to be some radical thing. It's like
Slaughter.
no. It's just the
the
just the
original
name of the county.
I have a question for
Sort
you.
of the lost history of Kitsap County in a way,
That's
because
cool.
a lot of people just don't even know it.
One of the things that you guys kind of use as a picture, like on your merchandise
Yeah.
or in your
Oh,
branding,
yeah,
is
yeah.
there's like two people and they've got a little beer.
Yeah.
And I've always been curious, is that a man and a woman or is that two guys?
Yeah.
Or
Well, so yeah, there's the guy is William Alloway Slaughter. He's the Army
so
lieutenant.
these are the Slaughters.
Yeah.
Okay.
The more manly looking one is his wife Mary, who I don't think she actually lived up here. I think she there was something like they moved up. He was in California, then stationed up in Seattle. She stayed down there. I don't know. I'm not going to get into that. But he was a really popular guy during when Seattle was being settled. Basically, he was the lieutenant in charge of the area, right? And so dealing with Indians and things like that. And he was actually killed by some Indians when he was. They were. Basically, it sounds like it was a lucky shot, like somebody just shot at a tent and happened to hit him, and they were on patrol out after a small band of Indians that were causing trouble at the time. So it's not, everybody's like, oh, well, they must have had a lot of cows out here in Slaughter, and there's been a big Indian battle or some sort of thing. It's like, no, it's just named after a guy that was popular. He was everybody liked him. He was a cool guy. So. When they broke the territory up from one giant King County territory, they added Jefferson and Pierce and Kitsap, but it was Jefferson, Pierce, and Slaughter, and everybody who lived here didn't want to live in a place called Slaughter, so
bad for tourism.
Yeah, they
probably good for tourism.
They established their county seat. They held their first elections, and they named the county. So it was Slaughter County for about 3 months.
Wonder where they came up with the name Kitsap.
Kitsap's got to be native.
Chief Kitsap was oh man, now I'm going to get in trouble. I'm not even going to try to guess what.
Let's just back away from it. Let's go back to the Luna.
Yeah, but he was an Indian chief. He's another popular guy.
Okay.
And basically, that's what they were. So yeah, the Luna.
Luna is
5 minutes.
beautiful nose.
Yeah. Belgian white.
A lot of beautiful smells when you.
It smells lovely.
So the most common Belgian white is Blue Moon. Blue Moon is not a good example of a Belgian white.
I think they just use that as marketing.
Yeah, Avery does a White Rascal, which is becoming more popular in the area now. I'm seeing it in more bars. That's a better example of a straight up Belgian white. They're made with a good deal of wheat. Mm-hmm. They're fermented to stay a bit cloudy. They use orange and coriander as spices, and then they can develop a bit of a lemony quality, so they can get a little bit of tartness to them. They're really like beautiful beers.
Yeah.
So this is a variation on that. I wanted to do something that was more northwest oriented. So rather than orange, we threw in blackberry. Rather than just coriander, I also added some black pepper and some star anise, sort of your black licorice flavor. So we're just sort of hitting on black pepper, black berries, and black licorice flavors.
Yeah.
And so Luna Negra means black moon. So instead of Blue Moon, we call it Black Moon. And that's this beer.
And we decided this was the official beer of the Eclipse. # Aaron's idea.
Yeah.
You should have just called it straight up Black Moon and just ride Blue Moon's coattails.
So the August
21st
Eclipse, this is the official beer of the August 21st Eclipse.
We're only getting, 98% coverage up here? Is that something close?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to get, in order to get full
Oregon,
coverage, it's in Oregon,
That's on Monday. I thought about taking the day off from work to go down there.
My sister's in Portland this weekend.
That's this weekend. That's not.
I don't know if they keep burning Canada. There might be too much smoke in the air. Yeah.
The air has been so hazy.
Yeah. So anyway, this, like you said, the nose on this is really beautiful. This is it's a great beer. And before we started rolling, we were talking about fruit beers. Mm-hmm. So this is our version of a fruit beer, and I do not like fruity sweet beers that are, and they're brewed for intentionally and cynically marketed just towards women.
Yeah.
And I don't like that. This is a fruit beer. Fruit's been used in brewing for a long, long time. It uses savory spices along with the sweetness of the fruit to bring this beer back into balance so that it's got a nice, just sort of overall grown up flavor, right?
Yeah.
It's not a chick beer or anything like that.
Yeah.
Not intended to be.
Well, and it's not sweet by any, I don't think that's sweet at all.
No, it doesn't come across as sweet, and it finishes very kind of herbal. When it's just sitting there and you're done with it, it's very herbal.
It's a nice dry finish, snappy sort of finish. This is a really nice beer on a hot day. This is our summer seasonal. Mm-hmm. It's popular enough that we're brewing it outside of just the summer months at this point.
Nice.
Take this beer. This is a fun one. Take it, put it in your mouth, and sort of really swish it around so that it starts to foam a lot, and the blackberries just explode. that's when you really get the fruit flavor. At least to me.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a clever trick.
She's going to start doing that with
That's
every
what I'm going
beer.
to do with it from now on.
And so yeah, it's a. So anyway, that's kind of, I wanted to throw in a beer that was kind of one of our different ones, because we do, in the fall we do a pumpkin porter that that recipe was 10 years in development, and I think it's a beautiful beer now.
There you go. You were just telling me yesterday.
I just said to him yesterday that somebody needs to make me a delicious pumpkin beer locally, because I love Elysian. Kind of sold out. I don't really know how to feel about that. But they're kind of like the king of pumpkin beers. People in San Diego tried to do pumpkin beers every fall, and I love them down there. But I don't think they know the meaning of autumn.
No, it's sunny all the time. They don't
Yeah.
know cold and rain and
Yeah.
clouds.
So
I grew up in the Midwest, so
Yeah.
And this recipe was developed back in the Midwest originally, and yeah, so my pumpkin beer comes out late in the season. It's August already. Trust me, there's somebody already starting to release
Oh,
a
yeah.
pumpkin beer to try to
Stupid.
get a jump on the market, and 90% of the pumpkin beers out there are shit. They
pumpkins
taste
aren't even in season yet.
they taste they taste like squash or they taste like potpourri. I'm a bit
Or
of
it's
a,
just spices. Then you don't even get
yeah,
pumpkin.
that's what I mean. Potpourri.
Yeah.
It's like drinking. Ugh. So ours, what we do is I actually wait until the sugar pie pumpkins, the good pie pumpkins, till I can get the very first ones, and I drive out, we fill up the car, and bring it back, and we chop up the pumpkins, we dredge them in our own spices, then we throw them in the oven overnight. I end up staying here overnight because we sort of low and slow. Like take the moisture out of the pumpkins, dry them out a little bit,
Nice.
caramelize them a little bit. Makes a huge difference, because if you don't take that moisture out, you end up with all that moisture in your beer, and that's when the pumpkin beers taste like squash to me. And a lot of the pumpkin, like most breweries will use, rather than using whole pumpkin like we do, they'll use a puree.
Yeah.
And the purees are cut with squash, so it's.
Then don't they call it a pumpkin squash puree?
Yeah,
Don't
and
call
there's-
it a pumpkin puree.
Yeah, and there's some breweries that are doing that. They're actually taking the honest route to that, but
Yeah.
it's just it's a gimmicky thing. Our pumpkin beer is beautiful, but it's just one of the things that when we put it out, it's really, by the time we get ours on market, it's really hard sell. So you're really probably only going to find it in the brewery, because we can't sell it to any other bars by the time our pumpkin comes out.
So you guys are essentially what, like December?
That's
October-
That's
or
October.
November?
Yeah, it's just about. It's usually the week of Halloween that beer comes out, and
Which
we'll
is
run it.
right around where. That's when the pumpkin beer should
It's when
come
it should
out.
come out. Yeah. Well, that's when the pumpkins are ripe,
Yeah.
and so it's literally 2 weeks after the first pumpkins come off the field, and then we'll run that through Thanksgiving, which makes sense for a pumpkin, right? Everybody else stops at Halloween. It's like, no, this is pumpkin season. This is when it should be going. So, and then in the winter, then we do another beer, which is another absolute weirdo, and it's called, what's it called? It's called Fruktsopa, which is Scandinavian.
soup.
Yeah, Scandinavian word for fruit soup. I had, when I moved out to the Pacific Northwest, I went over to a friend's house for Christmas, and they had this Norwegian fruit soup. That's something I'd never had. Cold soup made with orange juice and all these other fruits. It was amazing. It was the most Christmassy thing I ever tried. So I got the recipe, blew it up into a beer, and
Of course.
So
that one I've had, and that one I love
Nice.
it
every
is,
year.
and it's not even really a beer anymore. It's almost a completely different beverage. It's a rusty orange color. It's opaque. It's made with, I can't remember. So
We can get Aaron, he'll know.
yeah, we got it's the equivalent of about a
Shaking his head no.
third of the liquid ends up being basically orange juice. We use concentrate. but
Okay.
If you blew it back up, it's about 30 gallons out of a 100-gallon batch of orange juice.
Wow.
And I don't know anybody who's ever that brews with orange juice. My research on it said, don't brew with orange juice. There's every reason not to do it, and we did it, and it's incredible. It's so good. Yeah. So that's like super spicy. It's got that thing's got apples, peaches, the orange juice, ginger. It's
The
just
good
a
stuff.
weird beer. So anyway, I'm rambling.
No, that's
Oh, that's fine.
I'm actually gonna have to make a dedicated effort to come out here for the pumpkin beer.
Yeah.
We've been talking
Yeah.
about it because the pumpkin beer I drink every year is the Punkachino from Elysian.
Yeah.
Just because I like coffee and there's enough pumpkin flavor in it to, make it drinkable.
Yeah.
Whereas the other pumpkin beer, have you heard of Uinta Brewing?
Yeah.
UIN.
I always said Winta. They actually make, by the way, for my gluten intolerant folks out there, they make one of the best gluten-free beers that I've ever had.
Stone makes a gluten.
I've had the delicious IPA. It's a Stone beer, and it just I love them. It's the problem with gluten-free beers is they just don't feel like they have a body or a backbone to them because you're using anything that you can throw, rice or whatever you can throw in there that doesn't have gluten to do something. And so they all just are very watery to me. And Winta, or Uinta, however you say that, they make, what is it? It's a blonde. It's a blonde, but it has body to it, and I don't know how they're doing it. But it's my favorite gluten-free beer, and anytime I go to Silverdale, I go to the Total Wine & More, and I buy a 6-pack of that beer.
Should maybe buy a case.
Have you tried Widmer's Emission?
No,
beers?
I have not.
Those are really
Those
good
are
too.
crafted to reduce gluten.
Those are
but
really good for gluten intolerance.
they're effectively gluten-free.
Are they?
Yeah, there is a lobby that puts pressure on governments about labeling and things like that. That beer is effectively gluten-free.
What I would imagine they're doing, because when I brew at home, I use a product called Clarity Firm. Which,
Clarity Firm,
it takes the gluten, knocks it out. So I
Yep.
imagine that's what they're doing with
That's
that beer,
exactly
the same thing
it's
that I'm
exact
doing at
same
home.
thing, yep.
And those beers work okay for me when I brew at home. So
Yeah. So the Emission series is actually gluten removed, and there's a few other people using the same technology, right? That enzyme basically to deglutenize their beer. It doesn't have, the reports are that it doesn't have that big of effect on the flavor of the beer. The Emission series, it's a major brewer, so they aren't the most killer craft beers, but they're really good beers as far as gluten free. Because I don't like beer made with birdseed. Sorghum beers taste like ass to me. Now the Ghostfish guys, they're all gluten free. I'm pretty impressed with a few of their beers. Their Buckwheat Red, which has got to be the hardest beer to brew in the world, is really good.
Meteor Shower Blonde was the one that made an impression with me when I went over to Ghostfish.
Did you try their Belgian White?
I don't remember. Honestly, whatever they had
She
on
got
tap,
smashed.
we just got all of the taste. No, because they're not that high of a percentage. They're not high percentage beers either.
Yeah, they're.
And so we lined up all the tasters, and Aaron said all of the beer tasted like water, and I was like, then you can leave because this is what I can drink now. So
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. They do lack body, and the flavors are in the wrong register and everything like that. But their Belgian White, I was really impressed with that. I was like, this is pretty close to the right sort of quality of flavors and stuff. Now it was Belgian White again, talking about like the Luna and the Blue Moon sort of thing. So theirs was more along the lines of
and their Watch Standard. Their Watch Standard Stout, which I think is buckwheat. It's the closest I can get to a stout. And it's good as long as I don't drink it next to this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which, by the way, none of Scott's beers here are gluten-free. But so Dina's gonna have to deal with it.
I take a very
deal
strong.
with it later.
I take a very strong probiotic, and then I watch my intake for the next week, and then a month later we make another podcast.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So for the people who don't know, Slaughter County is in Port Orchard.
Yes.
Is this technically Bay Street?
Yes, we're on Bay Street. We are on the waterfront. It's a beautiful view.
Yes, like I said,
A
I've never
full-on
been
water
here.
view of Bremerton and the ships and everything
I
going
think
in
that's
and
an
out.
aircraft carrier, isn't it?
Yeah, that is.
We got all the submarines and the aircraft carrier. They
Yeah.
watch them come and go. It's really cool. So we're the only brewery in South Kitsap. This is our 5th year. We're still the only brewery in South Kitsap.
Yeah.
You're
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're the only craft brewery in South Kitsap ever. There used to be another. There was Silver Springs Brewery. Used to be right across the creek here from us, but that was in the 1930s.
Oh, that's a long time ago.
Yeah,
long
and
time ago.
so they were like a major producer back then. But yeah, we should talk a little bit about the the tap room. I don't know.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, go
Yeah,
for
It's a
it.
great spot.
When you walk in here, you just think pirates.
I've never been here before,
And it's huge.
There's pinball.
Yeah, we love
not
pinball.
ping pong, pinball.
Yeah.
That is
Pinball machines.
pinball.
Pinball machines. Hey guys, I've had
This many beers.
2 full beers on an empty stomach.
How many fingers do you see?
5. Big giant bar. Beautiful,
Wood bar that we
yeah.
built ourselves. Long story behind that, but yeah, basically the whole top of it was me and another friend did all of it. It's really proud of it. I love that bar.
You've got a private room
Huge.
for parties and meetings
Yeah.
and things like that.
Private party room, and the space itself is a big open space with a lot of eclectic, just wood furniture.
And you do have a
looking
small
for-
kitchen, right?
Small kitchen. We do pizzas and a variety of other things. Small plates. We do in summertime now. We're doing wraps and baked potatoes, things like that.
Nice.
So,
They have a piano, so if anyone
I don't
Yeah.
know if
Knows
that
how to
works.
play.
Does that work?
yeah,
it's a piano, it has to work. It may not be tuned right.
I've
but
never seen
it's
it
even
played.
tuned.
Yeah.
Usually that's the
I can play
stage
taps.
area.
Dun,
for-
dun, 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 dun,
I might be able to do
dun, dun,
Lavender's
dun, dun,
Blue.
dun. I have no idea what that is.
You've never had any piano training.
I might be able to do Fiddler on the Roof.
That
Barely.
okay.
Barely. I haven't done Fiddler on the Roof in
New
15
podcast
years.
segment. We'll get John drunk and put him in front of a piano and see what happens. And you guys run events here, right?
Yeah. So when they built the place, and it's not uncommon for breweries to do this, but it's sort of my own personal ethic too. I've had a company previously, and then I was actually president of a nonprofit organization, the local rugby union, and so
Rugby?
yeah, I like the community work and things like that, and so that was one of the main driving forces behind even opening a brewery, was to be kind of a community supporter. So,
Yeah.
yeah, we do a lot of stuff here. There's groups that meet here a lot. We, we do okay. So can I just go through our
Yeah,
week maybe?
go for
Okay,
it.
so yeah, like on Mondays, every other Monday we do a Paints and Pints night. It's the most popular one.
Is that with Rimbert?
Yep, with
Rimbert
Danielle.
Illustrations?
Yeah, with Danielle Rimbert, and that pretty regularly sells out. And Danielle does a great job, and it's a really fun night. Packs the place. So on a Monday,
Sure,
we do that.
why not, right?
Yeah.
For a Monday?
So
Yeah.
that's kind of every other week. Then every Tuesday we have a trivia night out here that's really fun.
Is it Trivia Time?
Trivia Time,
Trivia Time
yep.
Live?
Yeah.
Okay.
By the way, anyone listening, Trivia Time Live is a local trivia group where they go to
They go up
Up
and down
everywhere.
the peninsula, yeah.
everywhere.
And into Seattle now. They're expanding, and their rule set is great, and their hosts are awesome. They
Yeah.
just do a wonderful job.
My
Cannot
problem with
complain about 'em.
going to the trivia time, they start at like 7:30, and now that I have the kid, it's
My
like,
problem with going to trivia is by the time I get there, it's packed. Like, it is always
Don't miss
so
the Harry Potter
busy.
trivia.
I
Yeah.
don't have anybody to
Yeah.
do Harry Potter trivia with me, so if there are any other Potterheads out there, I would like to form a team.
Just make Aaron go with you.
He doesn't know anything about Harry
That's
Potter.
okay. Just make him watch all the
Although
movies.
he was born the same year as Harry Potter was.
Do you mean in the
1980?
books or actually
They were-
Daniel
so
Radcliffe?
not Daniel Radcliffe. Harry
Okay.
Potter was born in 1980. So
Okay.
Aaron is the same age as Harry
So
Potter.
he's Harry Potter.
He's not Harry Potter.
Is the Harry Potter trivia, is that going to be a Slippery Pig, or what are they doing?
So there was one
I
at
think that
Slippery
happened.
Pig. I think that
Okay.
one already happened, but another one came up, and I don't know where it is off the top of my head, but I did see it float through, and I clicked it on Facebook as interested. So
I
there's
used
another
to
one
do
somewhere.
the,
Arena. It's going to be at the arena.
So I always did trivia.
You sure that's Trivia Time Live?
I'm not sure that it's Trivia Time Live, but it's
Okay.
definitely Harry Potter.
Okay.
I used to do the trivia at the casino, Suquamish, Clearwater, and they would actually give away cash.
That's impressive.
Yeah, so if you won, you got like $30 a person,
Damn.
depending on your group. So if you had seven people, you got a bunch of money.
Was there a buy-in?
No.
To play?
No, it was free. But, their bar is as big as your whole,
Yeah.
thing. And so it was packed all the entire night. And we actually won a couple times. It was cool. They give you like a little slot ticket. So you can either go play slots or you can go cash out. And I always just cashed
Just
out.
cash
At
out.
which point all my beers were free. It was a good
Yeah.
night,
All right, so trivia And
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
then
So trivia on Tuesdays. Wednesdays, we've got a growing chess club that's been meeting here. They're on this is their 4th month, and they just had a really good group last night. We're recording this on Thursday morning. And the Port Orchard Sustainability Group is meeting here every Wednesday, and that's another growing group. They're involved in a lot of ecological sort of issues and just sort of community support stuff. They're a really cool group. And also on Wednesdays we do Kitsap Fresh, and several of the breweries in the area do this. And what you do is you order local farm fresh items online, and then you go to a pickup point, which is we're one of them. I think we're the southernmost right now, and pick up your groceries. It's really neat. It's great products and all farm fresh stuff. So again, we just do this to try to be kind of a community supporter.
sure. Drink local, shop local.
Thursdays, cigar barbecue. So any cigar smokers out there?
That's my dad right there.
Yeah. We
I didn't know about that, and I don't think he does either. So
yeah.
Well, I know where Dina's going to be on Thursdays.
I know where my dad's gonna be.
Oh.
Yeah, it started with a bunch of friends and I, and we just kind of go outside, and we've got some barbecue grills outside, and these guys would bring their own food, fire up the grill, cook their own food, and basically it all gets chopped up and passed around family style. Well, that group has grown, and so now every Thursday it's official that we have our cigar barbecue, and the guys show up about between 6 and 7 and just sit outside on the deck outside. Beautiful sunsets and stuff like that, and we do that, and that's really neat. So
That's cool.
A lot of
Super
your breweries are like totally anti-smoking, but I do like a cigar now and then.
Yeah.
So it's
And you have the
I don't-
outdoor area to
Yeah.
support
You have
it. So
Yeah.
and
big
I don't
giant-
and I don't think it. I think that you can have a cigar and enjoy a beer, and I don't think
It's
it hurts.
technically
the beer at all.
25 feet away from the door, so you're safe.
Oh, technically they can. What? So yeah, I don't know what else.
You stop on Thursdays.
Fridays and Saturdays we tend to keep open for random events.
Yeah.
One of the things we do is on first Saturday every month we've got a Queerly Beloved, which does a gender variety show, which is in effect a drag show that's really fun. They do that as a fundraiser for queer support groups out at OC.
okay.
And,
Okay.
Yeah, and so it's for a good
Is
cause.
that
and
adult
they have
content or is that family friendly?
I would say
Probably adult content.
yeah, I'd say 18 and up.
Okay.
Yeah, we kind of push for an 18 and up crowd for that, and if anybody's younger, we hope they've got somebody with them.
Parental guidance.
Yeah. It's not anything.
PG-13 for
Yeah,
that.
basically, yeah. So, yeah, okay. So it's in terms of so that's like every week, but the big event we've got coming up, and hopefully this will air probably just prior to this, so I'm assuming that will be this weekend, August 12th, and that is our anniversary party.
The
It's our-
pirate party.
yeah, our 5th anniversary. So it will be a pirate party. We've got a cannon crew that will be out on the waterfront right outside the beer garden, and they'll be shooting cannons off probably all day. They always do. We've got, we'll have the barbecue going. We'll be doing brewery tours, beer tastings, a lot of me standing up on stools and making toasts. And right now, like I said, we're missing our flagship beer. We're actually running low on quite a few of our beers because we're trying to reserve them. So we've got a bunch of our kegs on reserve right now. So on the 12th, Saturday 12th, we'll be rolling out like all kinds of different flavors of beer, and we're probably even going to be featuring some beers from some other local breweries and things like that.
Nice.
We'll have
So you'll have like, instead of your normal tap list, you'll have like almost double. For your party.
Yeah, and we'll be
Nice.
rotating throughout the night, I
Nice.
assume. Yeah.
That'd be cool.
And then starting at like 7 or so, the Smoked Oysters are going to be playing, and they are some of the guys from the old Whistling Oysters. So Irish party music sort of
Oh, that'll
thing.
be
Super fun, yeah.
Should have got Pirate Band.
Yeah. And they'll be, well, they're pretty close.
Irish music's pretty close.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they do
right?
they do shanties and stuff. And
I
we'll
love
have
shanties.
Yeah, there will be pirates here.
We'll have to put a shanty in this episode.
You should
Yeah.
just dress up
Oh, yeah.
and come as a pirate.
You know that. Look, you don't. Is that even a question?
No, it's not. It's gonna happen. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. It's
Let's
gonna happen.
get the baby a tiny pirate outfit, and you should bring the baby.
You know, I'll let you design and create the pirate outfit.
Oh, don't test me. I'll do it.
I know. Along with your, you should make a big pirate stained glass for their window. Too big?
We'll talk about that later.
You haven't even mentioned lasers once.
Lasers,
gotta
I
talk
know.
about lasers.
I think that's because we're holding our news and our lasers and our babies until we're done with the interview. But
Oh, okay.
I did do some lasering, some very popular lasering this week. A friend had their baby had their first birthday. Yay! She's the cutest baby on the planet. So I took a picture of her and laser engraved it into a canvas. Sorry, your baby is also very cute. They're both very cute and basically the same age, and all babies kind of meld together in my head. But if you want, I'll make a canvas of your baby.
There you go.
Absolutely.
There you go. That's
So I laser engraved a canvas with a picture of the baby, and her eyes were really big, and we edged it in really
She does
dark.
have
So
very
big eyes. And then other friends were like, "Hold on, did you burn that into a canvas?" Yes, I did with my laser. And they're like, "Can you put my baby on a canvas?" Yes, I can.
So it's just like
this
like
is the thing I'm doing
canvas,
right now.
like painting canvas?
Yeah, like a painting canvas, and I throw it in my laser bed, and then we set it on fire. We burn the picture in.
Huh, cool.
Instead
It doesn't
of-
burn all the way through, huh?
It doesn't. Well, so there's power and speed settings. So
Yeah.
so I had a test canvas first
Yeah.
to find the perfect balance of power and speed.
How many canvases did you burn through?
So, none, because I've done this before. But when
Okay.
I very first did a canvas, 5 years ago, it was a framed canvas instead of a backed canvas, and I accidentally set a cut outline on it, and then it cut at the end. It cut the picture off of the frame, and I was like, "Well, that's ruined."
Oh
So,
yeah, that's not gonna work so well. Nice.
Well, that's cool.
but yeah, that's where I'm at.
We should do, yeah, we do some art shows and stuff down here. You should bring some stuff in. We should display some of your
I
work.
secretly, don't be mad. I secretly have a blank tap handle that I think came from here
Oh,
that
yeah.
Aaron brought because we were gonna laser your logo onto it and
Oh.
then bring it back and be like, look at how cool it is.
Yeah.
But we haven't done it yet.
Ah, cool. Yeah.
So-
You just told
I-
it, so it's not gonna be a surprise anymore.
Well, but
You
it's
just-
cool.
You just
It's-
ruined the
It's
surprise.
still gonna be
I
beautiful.
remember Aaron grabbing it. But yeah.
It's
Yeah,
still gonna
that'd
be
cool.
gorgeous.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, what else? Anything else? Anything else I should be talking
Anything
about?
else? We covered pirates and beer and
And your
parties
events and parties and
where you are and what you do. And do you have any parting notes? Any lines? Do you have a tagline, a finish line?
No. Support independent,
Yeah,
local craft
absolutely.
beer. Drink local. Local beer is always the freshest.
it is.
Independence matters, right? So,
For sure.
you know.
Gorgeous. Well, thank you for sitting down with
Yeah,
us.
thank you guys.
Awesome. Thanks,
Appreciate
John.
it.
So,
That's
do you
it.
have any closing notes?
Drink beer. Don't shake your baby. Enjoy craft. And if you like board games,
Go drink Lavender Cast over at Ashley's Pub.
well, Dina happens to be going to Ashley's Pub often.
if you
so
want to
we
come
might,
and spend time with me, I'll be there.
we might have to have a board game episode.
Ooh, that
where
would be fun.
It might have to be Lasers, Babies, Beer, and Board Games.
Oh, that would be neat.
We can't officially change the name because we'd have to change all the social media
You know what they have there? Cards Against Humanity. We should play Cards Against Humanity
on the podcast.
on the podcast
That'd be
because it's so
That'd be
inappropriate.
so boring to listen to.
No, I don't think it would. Maybe we could get one of those. So Cards Against Humanity is what do they call that? Open source.
Okay, they're making a Disney expansion.
Exactly. So, but anybody can make an expansion. There's just templates you can download and sub your words into.
Okay.
There should be a beer version. Maybe even a Lasers Babies and Beer version. If we think we're that cool.
Well, we should probably get more than 41 listeners.
Look, number one, I'm going to take a minute to say, all 41 of you,
We love
I
you.
love you.
We love you.
You're my favorite people on the
Yes.
planet. A lot of you have the last name Ferguson.
Which we appreciate.
No, we appreciate that. I'll work on seeing if I have any family somewhere who should
Listen.
listen to
There
this.
you go.
But no, I appreciate all of you. You're the best. You're my favorite people. And I hope you continue to listen.
Yes.
We are always open to feedback. If there's anything you would love to hear on the podcast.
We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
If you want to come on our podcast, I'm down with that.
Don't come on the podcast.
Look, that's not what I...
Are you sure? Just saying. You can visit and join us in recording the podcast.
John doesn't want you to come on his podcast.
No, not at all.
Look, this might be spiraling out of control because
We
we've
should
had some
probably end
beer.
it.
We should stop. That just went down a dark path.
On that note, adios, folks.
Hold on. We have a speech.
No, we don't.
Yes, we do.
We don't have a speech.
Yes, we do.
From who?
The closing speech.
Did you come up with one?
We used it on the last episode.
I don't remember.
It was...
So you don't remember either?
Pause it.
No.
Pause it.
No.
He
No,
refuses.
I'm not pausing it.
I remember
Because
it
you don't
said,
know what it is.
Do not, beer is not for babies. Do not operate lasers or heavy machinery under the influence of alcohol. And always
Drink
listen responsibly.
Listen responsibly.
He's too drunk.
I'm going to get some food. You want some food?
Food.
Food.